Welcome back to another episode of the Feel Nice podcast. Here we go. Been taking a little bit of a break for reasons that I believe are acceptable. I'm not going to lie. I've been really nervous to make this podcast. I don't know why. It's just I was ripping. I was going really good with my other podcasts, and then we received our first child on February 12th. So I believe I posted my last podcast and it was the day before, and then suddenly, we my wife, she went, her water broke, and I'll give you the story, but it all went down and we're here. We have a baby now. So that's why I was off for a couple weeks here, and I've just been like, not all, but like a lot of like when I'm just in my own head, I'm like thinking I need to make the podcast like this. I was just going, I was getting some momentum, and then all of a sudden, boom, parenthood. It's crazy, man. So can't wait to tell you all about it, how things are going, and the whole deal. So I've just been putting together in preparation for this. I've been just putting together random topics that I want to talk about in my podcast, which I'll be talking about today. So that's something moving forward that I'll be doing, is just putting topics down, just so I don't run out of stuff to talk about, so I can keep you guys informed of what's on the agenda. So basically, I took a couple weeks off, and here we are today. And like I said, my wife's water broke on February 11th, 2025, and she happened at like 6 in the morning. And I'm hoping I can have her on the podcast to get her end of the story, but to make it nice and easy for everybody, water broke 6 a.m. February 11th, went to the hospital. They sent us back home, and then they said come back on February 12th at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m., like 24 hours later. We're going to induce you. And when you get induced, that means they make that baby come out. So we're going to induce you at 7 a.m. on the 12th. See you then. So that's pretty scary. You're like, okay, they send us home, and then it's just a little bit intense. We're like, here we go. We weren't sure if my wife was feeling contractions yet, and she's like, I think I feel something. I'm not really sure. So we weren't really sure. There wasn't real true signs of early labor. There's all sorts of stages of labor. And so we just basically waited for the next day. We went to sleep, and we went for a nice walk, kind of a scary walk because there was a bunch of snow on the ground, so we had to be super careful. But she needed to walk because that's just what she wanted to do. She wanted to get things moving, which is a totally smart thing to do. We're just walking and talking like, holy crap, tomorrow we're probably going to have a baby. So the next day on the 12th, we went together, got the bag together, got the hospital bag, and we went to the hospital because that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do to get induced. And they took us in at around 7 or 8 in the morning, and they took us to the room where the baby was going to get had. And there's a lot to this story. There was a complication that wasn't our fault. It was the nurse's fault, and I'll tell you all about that. I think I want to save that part for when I have my wife Jen on, and she could say all that stuff. So I'm just going to kind of give you get down and dirty with everything, and then the podcast with her, she can break it down. So we basically, they induced her. They give it through an IV, and then they induced her. And so that's by maybe 10 or 11 a.m. they finally induced her on the 12th. And she started getting some pretty intense contractions, and it was really intense, really scary to see your wife in that much pain. It's like nothing you've ever seen before, to see someone you love so much, like in so much pain. And she was, again, like I'll get into so much more detail with the podcast with her, and once it's up, I'll leave a link or something, or leave it in the description. And it's just so sad to see like your loved one thinking she's gonna die. Like she was like, I'm gonna die. It was so sad and scary, and it all ended up working out. And then the baby like came out of her, and it was like insane. And we didn't know if it was going to be, we didn't know the gender. that's something I should mention. We didn't know what the gender of this baby is going to be. So I just like, nothing was real yet. Like I just could, for some reason, I just needed to see what this baby is going to look like, what the gender was. I was just like, holy crap, this baby's, they're like, it's coming out, Jen. And she's like, oh my God. And she pushes. When we get into the full story, we'll say it, but she basically gives one last push. Like, and it was just a roar. Like I've never heard her. She was like, just like a, like I could just go so much louder, but it was a roar like I've never heard. And she pushed this baby out of her, and legendary, man. Like she's a small woman and big heart, small woman. And yeah, she got that thing out of her and slithered on out, and they had it. And I kind of looked, because I was up above with her. I didn't want to see it. I didn't really want it. It was too intense, man. Like I just didn't, I was already trying to just be with her and just do, I was crying. Like I was like she was crying, I was crying, because it's just like so intense. But the workers there, they see it all the time, so they're kind of like, what, dude, why are you crying? And I'm like, I don't know, man, this is emotional. But to the worker, the nurses and the midwives, like they see this thing multiple times a day, so no biggie for them. And I just couldn't keep, I had to take a couple steps, I had to like pace around the room a little bit, and then I'd come back, and just I did that, maybe took 2.5 short 15-second breaks to gather myself and come back and be there for her every step of the way. Baby comes out, and they're like, Dad, what's the gender? And I was like, oh my God. So I looked down there at the genitals, and by golly, it was a little girl. So we have a little girl, and I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. I was like, it's a girl. And I was like, Jen, it's a girl. And then like they put like a little baby on her chest, and I was freaking out, and I'm looking at her, and I was like, holy crap, Jen. I was like, she's cute. Like she's actually cute. And for some reason, I just couldn't believe we made like such a cute little baby. Like it was insane. For some reason I was like, I just thought maybe something, I don't know, you just never know. And I'm just like, holy crap. And I'm like kind of looking her over, I was like, she's freaking, like, I just felt like she was perfect to me. And maybe I'm biased because she's ours, but like, dude, it was just it is so surreal. And she came out, and then we put her on the chest of Jen, and she was just like, she was in shock. She was just like, holy crap, like like just looking down, she couldn't believe it, kind of like gasping for air, and like a relief giggle kind of thing. And I was just like, holy crap. I was kind of just hands on my head, like, what the hell, like this is insane. I was pacing and stuff there. I was just like, ooh, like they were like, dude, this guy's freaking out. But I just had to let it out, and I was like, this is crazy. And then Jen's holding the baby. They kind of left us alone for a minute, and we just couldn't believe it. And then it's just like we had to stay at the hospital for 24 hours, and just so much respect for women, man. Like that was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that dude, I couldn't do that. And not a man in sight. I was the only man, if you even want to call me a man. I felt like they were more masculine than I was throughout that whole situation. So all the ladies in the hospital doing their job. Good job, guys and girls. Well, good job, ladies, not guys. Sorry. And yeah, crazy job that is. And they got her, and she was healthy, and I was just kind of waiting, like, what's it gonna be? So we had to stay at the hospital for 24 hours. So we basically had the baby at 2:25 p.m. and then we had to stay in the hospital all night, and it was just kind of a wild night. Like, I don't think I really slept. Like, we just stayed up. So 2:25 p.m. they moved us to another room. They said we're gonna have a roommate at some point. And then we were kind of waiting and just stayed there all afternoon. They had somewhat of a cafeteria in the hospital, and there was they had good stuff. They had deli sandwiches, and Jen couldn't eat deli throughout her pregnancy, so she had some deli ham and cheese sandwiches, and I ate whatever. They had some stuff that had hard-boiled eggs, and I'm just like, get a couple hard-boiled eggs. Yeah, it's quite the selection. And yeah, so we just kind of lived off that for the day, and it turned into night. And then I got one of those reclining chairs that turned into kind of a bed. And then just we had a baby, and we were just taking care of this baby in the hospital. Nurses would come in every couple hours to check in, take blood work on Jen, or blood work even on the baby. They took like a few, maybe 2 or 3 blood works of the baby while we were in there, and they prick the heel of their foot, and blood comes out, or not the heel, the bottom palm of your foot down here, and they prick it, and then they fill up a little vial of blood, baby blood, and baby cries, and it's a brand new baby, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so sad to see. But yeah, they do that, and then we stayed there probably over 24 hours, because we didn't get out of there until maybe 6 p.m. on the 13th of February. So yeah, it was a long trek, but I understand a lot of people could even stay much longer if they had to do other procedures like a C-section. We didn't have to do that. Jen friggin' ripped it. Like, honestly, I keep saying, I gotta wait for her. I don't have to, but I would like to have her explain the whole story. But she did it without any drugs except for the gas, like, I don't know, whatever the gas is. And she used that, and then that was it. No other drugs that they offered her. There came a time where it got so intense she actually yelled for the drugs, and then they said the drugs will be there in half an hour, and they had to look inside, and they're like, oh, you don't have half an hour, we're doing this now, this is going down now. And we're like, oh, what? So that's perks for I guess the baby, because she didn't have to have drugs, and perks for Jen because she didn't have to have the drugs, and she dealt with a lot of pain. Now we got baby, and yeah, dude, like, she's laying here right now. I got my cat like laying here looking out the window, have our baby just sleeping, and this is the first podcast I've done back since we had the baby, and I was so nervous to get on here. I'm not even joking. I would think about it. I was like, I gotta get back on the podcast. Is it over? And I was like, is this it? And I don't know. I just kind of gave myself, I was like, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. I will get to it when I get to it. But now the past couple of days, I'm like, okay, there's definitely times where I could sneak on and rip a pod. And yeah, I just had to do it. You just got to hop in that cold water and hope for the best and breathe. So yeah, we have a baby daughter. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to disclose her name. So again, I'm just respecting everybody and everything. And maybe, who knows, maybe one day she'll be on the podcast. We'll have to wait for mama, see what mommy says. But right now I'm looking at her and she's fast asleep. She likes to get sang to. She likes to, hopefully she likes when I podcast. She was a little fussy right before I started this, but maybe since I'm chatting, maybe she's gonna just relax a little bit. And she has been. It's been around 15 minutes and she's chilling. I think my cat's more fussy right now than she is, so that's great. And little girl maybe will be on the podcast one day. And what else is going on? So yeah, my cat, I just, the things you do, like when you have the baby, it's like different. Like, I'm just like, I don't know, like you can only do so much as the dad, where like Jen's breastfeeding and my job's to do the burping. When you have a baby, especially a small baby, I don't know if I mentioned that she was small. She came out 6 pounds, which is pretty small for a baby. I think it's not too small, but pretty much the lowest small you can be without it being a major issue. Not major issue, but without additional attendance. She's got to eat a lot. Like, she had to keep up to her birth, get caught up to her birth weight. So we're waking up 2 hours a night, sometimes an hour and a half every night and day. Like, we're strictly feeding past 2 weeks, and Jen will wake up and feed her, and then I will try and wake up. I probably have I'll be a little tough on myself, and I'll say I probably have a 70% wake up ratio for burping. She'll let me sleep occasionally, and once she's feeding, then she'll burp, but I do the burping, I'll do the burping, and there's all sorts of methods that you learn online and stuff like that. The burping's a big one. They get super gassy, and then they don't want to sleep, and it's just a whole learning experience. So I try really hard not to get mad and frustrated, and I haven't snapped yet. But we'll see. We'll see what the breaking point is. I don't know. I'm just trying to. I read one comment on Reddit about. I was on a forum reading something. It was actually the forum I was reading is about raising girls because I don't know. For some reason I just like kind of thought I thought she was gonna be a boy. So I was kind of had this mind in my head about having a baby boy, and when she came out a girl, I was kind of mind blown because I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna like be screwed here. So as the like days and weeks, like we're on week number 2 now, as this has gone on, I've kind of realized like I feel sometimes I'm more of a girl than a boy myself. Like I enjoy like watching reality TV with my wife. I like doing this. I guess this will all come off super stereotypical, but like I enjoy keeping clean. I like to like cook. I like to go shopping, like for groceries, and I like doing all the stereotypical stuff that manly men would say is a woman's job. But in our house, I like to do it. I like to be I like to do it, but Jen does it too. She definitely holds her ground on all that stuff. But when we had the baby, I have to step in and do a little more of that type of stuff, and I like it. So it'll be interesting having a baby girl. And I'm not like a huge sports guy. I'm not like I do like to do some kind of handyman stuff, but there are some fantastic handy women out there, and it's just like I'm figuring like I am a feminine guy. I grew up with a sister. I find sometimes when even in childhood, like I'd kind of gravitate more towards like the women, like the older women. Like I probably can have a better conversation with a woman than a man. Ultimately I'm actually like feeling more peaceful. It would be amazing to have a son, maybe one day, but I've learned that the gender thing is it's an interesting one because the human is going to be who the human's going to be, and you might have a little boy that likes little girl stuff more than a little girl even likes little girl stuff. So she's so cute too, man. Like I don't know, like it's just something like it's just like she's such a little cutie, and it's super cute to have cuddles, and I just like could just be so cuddly, and it's so fun, like just singing, and dude, I don't know, it's fun so far. But I could just tell I have work building up now. I'm taking a little bit of help from work, like because we have a baby, and it's awesome to be able to have the freedom to help my wife and my work colleagues, who's also my dad. He is helping me out a lot, and it's been really enjoyable 2 weeks of just being a dad for the first time ever. And I was in the gym. Like I've been trying to go to the gym. My workouts have been like pretty not great, but it's something, right? So I had like a pretty relaxed workout, and I think it was a back workout. Oh, might have even been a biceps and triceps workout. Yeah, it was an arms day. I'm walking out. I have a t-shirt on, and then this guy in tattoos and like big bling earrings, he actually complimented me. He asked me, how long does it take to get arms to look like yours? And I was like, I thought he was kind of messing with me, but then I had to think about it. I was like, well, I've been kind of like working out on and off like since high school, which would be like over 10 years ago now. And I think it's like 11 or 12 years ago. And yeah, so whatever that means to you. And then he was super nice. And then he told me he was a roofer. And I was like, that's awesome. And I was like, so, and he told me he's just been working out for the past 11 months and he's just like really into it now. I was like, that's great. And I was like, I just had a baby like a couple of days ago. For the first time ever. And I don't know why I said that, but I just said it. Like, I hadn't really like told any, like, my friends knew. I don't have like a ton of friends, but like my friends and direct family know. And then we made a post on Facebook, but like I just felt the need to tell a stranger that. And then he was like, oh, congratulations, man. I was like, thanks. And then I said, have a good day, and walked off. So it just makes you feel like a weird way when you're even just walking around in like real life when you're alone, when you finally get that kind of alone time. It's really weird. So yeah, basically a lot of respect for the ladies that are working that helped us have the baby. Thank you. And then a lot of respect for Jen, my wife. That's a big respect. That's like probably, that just made, like, I just sealed the deal. Like, well, we got married, but so sorry, my screen's just kind of stopped, and I just want to make sure this wasn't going to stop. Just like, I just couldn't believe it. It just made me just, I will never look at her the same in the most positive way ever. And so yeah, lots of respect to Jen, and then lots of respect to our little daughter. She is growing, and it's probably tough being a baby. Like, that would be super. Like, I see you. I see what you're doing. You're growing. She's growing. Like, she's already grown within 2 weeks, and anybody that's had a baby for 2 weeks probably understands. I guess I never understood, but like, yeah, she's already growing, and she's loud. She's getting loud when she's upset. When she wants to eat, she wants to eat. And yeah, so and that's just because she's growing. And the comment I read on Reddit, I don't know if I ever even said what I read, but I read a comment. So basically, in that thread of the how to raise a female, I went on that rant, but it just said like, I think the guy wrote a little something, and then at the end it said, just don't forget to always keep your cool. And I thought that was really cool. Just like, okay. And don't, like, whatever. If my wife is like kind of in a mood, and if the baby's crying and I'm just like getting hit on all ends and like whatever, I just gotta just like, all right, just take it. And then whatever you got to do after. I don't even know if, like, because sometimes, like, when you get so pissed and like you like are trying to control it, and then finally you get alone, and then you kind of just spaz out and like you do whatever. I've talked about breaking stuff, or you just like yell, or like punch something. Like, I want to try and just, I don't know if you heard her there, but yeah, I just want to try and just like see if I could just not even do that. Just try and find a way. Maybe the podcast will be helpful for that if I can just keep doing this, and maybe that'll help me get out some. But sometimes it's hard to like just vent out your true emotions and post it. That's pretty wild. But I also saw one of our guy I know, I guess he's like an acquaintance. Like, I wish I could call him a friend, but we just don't know each other well enough. But he wrote something. He just wrote something like on a post that said like, you'll be upset to realize that all this, hey, yeah, okay, I got a baby. Oh no. Hopefully we'll be all right here. He wrote a post about how it said if you realize how much time you wasted not doing something that you want to do, you'll be upset because you realize that nobody was really watching you to start, and nobody would have even ever known, or something like that, or cared. I don't know. I butchered it, but it just made me think like, yeah, so why not just keep going here. So here we go. 2-week break complete. I'm going to try and do about once a week here if I can, maybe do more. realistically, I think once a week is nice, but if I can fit in a second or third or fourth or whatever, if I just want to do a little streak action, I'll do it. Because when I started these, I think I was going one a day at least. I might have even been doing, yeah. So I was posting pretty much once a day for the first 12 episodes, maybe. Had a couple of days gaps in between, but I was staying super consistent. And now I think it's like time to set up the realistic expectations of, I don't love setting a schedule. I think it's nice to have the freedom to just like post whenever to start, and then we'll see if we can get a rhythm going. If we want to set a schedule up, see if that's what people like, that's fine. And yeah, a little co-host over there is making some noises, and I know it's not super professional to be doing a podcast with a baby in the room, and it's just me though. Like I don't know what else I can do. Like everybody's so professional in this, and it's so cool, and I guess I could do it, but I don't know if that's just me. It's just not me. This is me. So here we go. Now, I guess, yeah, I've kind of gone through all the baby stuff, talked about mommies, talked about the baby, talked about myself, I guess. And then, yeah, so my wife was like, I need to get Instagram back, I guess, to see some of the baby videos she's been posting. And I deleted Instagram about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago from my phone. And that was just because I was just a serial Instagram Reels reader, and Instagram is crazy. Different beast. They have some crazy stuff on there, and yeah, you just have to watch. You don't have to, but you just get sucked into watching the most insane things. And I won't get into detail of the things that I do sometimes watch, but it can be pretty aggressive. It can be pretty aggressive stuff. So I'm back on Instagram, and I'm like scrolling. I've almost deleted it a couple times. I think I just do need to kind of talk to her and say, hey, I'm gonna just delete the gram again, and it's just nasty. It's nasty stuff. It's there's some bad things on there. I do have Facebook. Facebook Reels I feel like are a little more tame than the Instagram, and so I also cracked my phone screen, but I had a screen protector, so the screen protector got smashed. Phone was fine. Dude, I don't know if you can hear her, but she's just talking. She's just my little buddy, and yeah. So we got the Instagram. Where was I? Yeah, Facebook Reels is more tame than Instagram. So I know. So I smashed my phone case, and then I ordered a new case. I get the new case, and it's a you can't. It's privacy one that you can't see. So I'm like, oh crap! I didn't even mean to get this. So I buy another one. I ordered another one, but like now I was at the gym. I'm like, I kind of like this privacy one because I'm at the gym and I'm like kind of in between sets. I'm looking at some videos and like I can watch some crazy stuff and people won't see it. But I think I'm gonna delete the Instagram, delete or replace my phone's thing so I could be held accountable for people seeing what's on my phone, because I don't think that if I am not, I guess if I would be afraid to show it to the person next to me in real life, I probably shouldn't be watching it. So all the drive-by shootings and aggressive stuff, yeah, like, and we got baby here now, so I don't need our baby seeing that stuff either. So just better to just get rid of the Instagram for a little bit. And yeah, lots more to talk about. I wanted to just keep on going for like an hour at least, but I think baby's getting a little bit fussy, and promised my wife that I would not I would get off the podcast if she got fussy. So because I was given approval to do the podcast and watch the baby while she napped, as long as I don't ignore the baby, which I think is fair. But I think a lot of dudes would say that, hey, get a grip on yourself, brother. You're letting go. You're the man. But hey, girl dad, what you gonna do, right? And let's quiet down a little bit. What else can we go about? So yeah, I got the phone screen. I'll replace it today. I'll hold myself accountable. I'll delete Instagram today, and I will replace the phone screen today. So I'm doing it. I've been writing my songs still. Been writing these, like, been polishing up these I believe 5 songs, and they're like rap songs and pretty quick rap songs. And I need to get the courage to record them and just like at least record them. I'm writing them. They're all like I could probably get away with making a song out of every one of them, but I just need to do some more, change some things up, and keep practicing, because it's one thing to write the song, but it's another to actually be able to do it perfectly. And yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I need to also hold myself accountable on that and not be embarrassed to do that. And it's just, I don't know if it's good, I don't know if it's bad. I've done a couple live ones for my buddy Connor. I've done one, or Josh, my whole life. Like, I've been doing, we've been sharing music together all the time. He's much better than I am, but like amateur stuff that I do, like I love to show him, and he loves hearing it. So yeah, I've been working really hard on these songs, and I try not to take myself too seriously. Like, I'm trying to keep it somewhat sane, and like not. I could go so provocative with these songs, like, and that's just like what I would love to do. Like, just go all out, no censorship, and it's just hilarious. But I can't really, like, I just can't, because maybe one day, but just right now it just doesn't work for my job, and like we have a baby. Like, I don't want our baby to hear me saying this crazy stuff, but maybe one day I will feel comfortable enough to do that. But for now, everything's pretty like PG-13, maybe a little 18 plus here and there. And yeah, just no rated R, rated X stuff at this time. So speaking of PG 13 to 18, is it weird for guys when they're walking outside, is it weird for them to have their nipples popping out with their shirts? I don't know, man. I found myself walking down a sidewalk to Shoppers Drug Mart to get some eggs, and I didn't have a hoodie on. It a little chilly. My nips were popping a little bit, and I was like, I don't know. Is this weird? Um, yeah. So I just kind of went like this. I was like, all right, and then yeah. So that was that's kind of weird. I don't know why I wrote that one down. Um, yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish I didn't get into that one, but whatever. Here we are. Baby's getting fussy. I'm gonna leave it on that then. I guess. Yeah. Here we go. First podcast back. Thank you for watching. Really pumped to be here, and yeah, this is just such a fun time already. Oh, I feel so relieved now. Did a 33-minute plus podcast, and oh yeah, okay, there we go. I was freaking out about this, guys. I was freaking out. Whoever's watching this, if you made it this far, I was like genuinely losing sleep for like how many people are gonna make it this far? Like 2, maybe 3, maybe, if that. Maybe no one. So I don't know what I was getting so freaked out about. And yeah, I'm excited for the future, and thanks for watching and listening. Have a good day. Talk to you in the next episode. Bye.